I have family members who save money by buying terrible one-ply toilet paper. Reddit. What money saving practices that people use do you find to not be worth the savings? Cheaper than black garbage bags. My sister buys them, and every time someone takes out the trash at her place, it's a gamble if the bag will hold together long enough without breaking. She's had countless bags break on her, but still she thinks she's saving time and money. I have a friend who passes right by frugal and straight to cheap bastard. He doesn't purchase TP. He once was having a female friend over to stay for a while, so he tore up napkins provided by some restaurant into sheets for use while she was there. She didn't even stay one night. What the frick? Buying smaller sets or sizes of things. For example, a single roll of paper towel can go for $1 to $3. But you could buy a larger pack for $10. Also, Rosette crayons. I don't even know if they are cheaper than Crayola, but they freaking suck. The opposite of that applies to buying too much of something, mostly food, because the price per unit is cheaper, but half ends up going bad to waste etc. Buying things only because they are on sale. This stuff was $1,000, but I got it 80% off. Did you actually need any of that? No, but I saved $800. My roommate tends to buy whatever is cheapest, rather than what is economical. If dish soap comes in 2 sizes, she will buy the smaller, cheaper size, rather than the one with a lower cost Oz. And it's not like we aren't going to use all of it, or it'll go bad before we use it. There are times where being frugal doesn't make sense. TP is number 1 on that list, followed by razors, bedding, shoes. I have a friend of mine who doesn't want to pay $2.50 for a load of laundry in her apartment building, so instead she drives to her mother's place to do it, which is 3 hours away, and she does this a couple times a week, and complains she never has money for gas. Depending on the car, that's easily over $50. This is on the very low end. To do laundry, there has to be another reason she is going home. One time I was in Walmart with my dad and I needed nails for carpet. Thin ones, maybe 50 or so. He suggested that I didn't buy them because he had a tub at home and could pick through it and get plenty for free. I got the nails at Walmart, 200 CT for 97 cents. And when I put them on the checkout counter he raised his voice and said, "I told you that I have those at home." I interrupted him with, "If you spend 10 minutes trying to save $1, you're working for less than minimum wage." The cashier laughed and he shut up and bought them. I feel like this logic also applies to driving around town looking for the cheapest gas instead of just pulling in and fueling up at the first place that's not a Shell. Sorry Shell, I love your gas but you're expensive as frick. A bed. You spend 1/3 of your life on a bed. Buy the best one you can get. A good bed is healthier, too. It helps you live longer and more comfortably. I bought mine for $1,000. Cost me more than that, because I bought it on a payment plan. Also the only thing I ever bought on a payment plan. Not the best of the best, but it certainly is a huge pleasure for my bad back compared to the crappy $150 ones I had before that. I have a grandmother who, when you stay at her place, insists that you have only a 2-minute shower. Seems harsh but fair, but her shower is pitiful. It's a slow dribble that barely gets you clean. Not only that, but you have to keep the plug in so you can put the shower water into a bucket which she uses to flush the toilets to save having to use the actual flush. I would give her a $5 bill and shower as long as I liked. I worked with a woman who was the definition of cheap. She's been at the company as long as my mom has. I can promise she's not hurting for money. Anyway, she buys 10 rolls of toilet paper a year. If she has to go, she will wait until she's at work or walk across the street from her apartment to a store. She owns 2 pairs of scrub pants and 3 office approved shirts. They've been the same set for the 4 years I worked there. They are so worn out it's offensive. One of the drawstrings broke on her pants, so she walks around holding them up. She also walks around the lunchroom asking people if they are done with their Coke cans, because in NY you can return each one for 5 cents. She goes to Taco Bell and orders the big box, eats one, and then put the rest in the freezer for later. She'd come into the office and microwave it. When I got married, various people from the office got me cards, some with money or a small gift. I grew up knowing most of the office. She folded a piece of paper and taped a quarter in it. I was not expecting anything from her, or anyone, but it was very Dursley. For me it would have to be cheese. There really is a significant difference in taste between store brand and name brand. Edit. Spelling. Buying cheap and low quality versions of all kinds of things. It's gonna break or wear down faster and you won't have saved a single quarter because you will buy it again and again. My father is emperor of false economy. We need to steam the carpets. Should we call someone? Number. Too expensive. Should we rent one and do it ourselves? Number. Too expensive. Solution. Buy a $15 steamer that just pours water on the carpet. We need more toilet paper. Should we get the good stuff? Number. Too expensive. The mid-shelf stuff? Number. Too expensive. The one ply? Solution. Yes, but we will need to buy 5 of them because we go through these fast. Hey, we need some dishwashing detergent. Super grease fighter? Number. Too expensive. Regular detergent? Number. Too expensive. Solution. Alright, the bargain brand it is. Need to wash dishes 3 times before they are actually clean. Same applies for clothes washing powder. Younger me. Dad, I think I need braces. Dad, number. Too expensive. You'll have dentures when you are older. We need to do some gardening. Hire a gardener. Number. Too expensive. Hire the kid down the street. Number. Too expensive. Crap. Hire me. Number. Too expensive. Solution. Buy plastic tools that break after a single use. Dinner time. Go to restaurant. Number. Too expensive. Fast food. Number. Too expensive. Go to the supermarket and cook something. Number. Too expensive. Solution. Vacuum pack meat that gave everyone food poisoning and resulted in hospital bill. Car needs repairs. Go to the mechanic. Number. Too expensive. Call that guy down the street who knows a little something about cars. Number. Too expensive. Solution. Pray the car doesn't fall apart. I understand my dad had a rough childhood. Post World War II Germany, but dang. Being frugal is not the same as being cheap. In all, he probably ends up spending as much, if not more, money on frugal purchases that didn't live up to expectations than he would have if he had just bought a decent alternative. And he doesn't seem to learn from his mistakes. He is always optimistic that this will work. I feel genuinely sorry for you. Sounds like a pretty crappy way to grow up. Setting the thermostat too high in the summer and too low in the winter to be comfortable. I used to do it myself but have found that money spent to keep from being miserable is money well spent. Some people drive further to get gas that's a dime cheaper per gallon. I figure if you add up the time plus the gas you use to get further, sometimes that's just financially silly. Similar with driving an extra 10 minutes each direction to save a buck. $1 for 20 minutes of your life? I guess it depends whether you like driving. For specific items, I think headphones are something that really depend on who you are, but for someone like me, super cheap headphones really aren't worth saving the money. Mine aren't fantastic either, but I can't stand headphones with bad quality. I feel like I may as well not have headphones at all. Some people drive further to get gas that's a dime cheaper per gallon. My Phil does this. He got a gas card, $50 a year. That saved 05 cents per gallon at gas station that is 50 miles away. Once a week he makes a 2-hour drive to fill up. My BF is too cheap with the toiletries. When I sleep over, I need to bring my bathroom kit of TP, tips, soap, shampoo, shave cream, toothpaste, etc. If I forget my kit, I leave there feeling like I just left a POW camp. Buying cheap shoes, beds, kitchen equipment, socks, work clothes, pretty much anything. I've gotten into significant disagreements with my boyfriend's family regarding this. They buy everything as cheaply as possible, normally from Walmart or otherwise. I try to buy quality items, normally on sale. Sure, I paid $120 for my work shoes, but I've had them for a few years and my feet are still comfortable. They've since bought 5 pairs of $25 shoes, complain about their feet and backs hurting. I pay more up front and that is all they see. They don't realize in the end they are paying more due to the rate of replacement. My parents used to make me drive to our local water power provider and drop off the paid bill, instead of using a stamp, 20 minutes each way. Twist, they just wanted you out of the house so they could frick. Tattoos and piercings. Go to the expensive place and get it done correctly and safely. In NYC I hear some artists had waiting lists up to 4 months. If you want to get a tattoo here and are able to just walk into a place and get inked immediately, it was probably a bad idea. Diluting the dishwashing liquid when it's almost finished, over and over again so nothing gets left behind in the bottle. For one thing, dishwashing gets that much more frustrating than it already is, having to endlessly squirt out some useless bubble water to get 1/3 of the amount needed to actually get oil off a plate. You're literally saving what? 10c worth of the stuff at most. I really hate dishwashing. Diluting your dish soap also lets bacteria grow in it so it's even more counterproductive. A friend of mine buys all his clothes and shoes from Walmart. He makes good money but can't see the difference in buying a polo shirt from Walmart versus an actual polo or similar shirt. His clothes all look like hand-me-downs after a few washes. My friends who turn down the heat in the dead of winter to save energy. It's so cold when I go to visit them I'm shivering and I keep my scarf and hat on while I drink hot butt tea that burns my insides. Air conditioning is one place where I won't cheap out. I refuse to suffer in my own home. It's worth the money. I know someone who saves money on really good deals all the time, whether it be food, appliances, toys, etc. The problem is he hoards it all in his house so his house is so completely stuffed full of things that you can barely walk around it. He has real nice things but it's a sad situation because he doesn't really need that stuff. Nor does his teenage daughter who has outgrown most of the toys' clothes. If he sold 70% of his stuff, he could make some real money. My mother will see a small bag of whatever for $10 and a huge bag for $11 and she will, without fail, buy the small one. It doesn't matter if the other one is 10 cents more expensive and it's made of gold. She believes that saving equals letting the smallest possible amount of money get pried from your dead cold fingers. I've decided there are several things that I'm just going to stop buy cheap versions of. Socks, underwear, any dress clothes, especially pants, toilet paper, any tool I plan to use more than once. Virtually anything that goes diving with me, especially mask and fins. No, Walmart does not have good enough equipment. This probably goes for any hobby, beer except for a party, sheets, probably some others. As a guy I've looked down upon the shopping habits of the opposite sex when it comes to clothing but I will say that one thing you can never spend enough money on is a good bra. Iceberg lettuce. Yeah, let's just get some water wrapped in a little green leaf. Friggin' romaine and spinach all the way boss. Most of the stuff on our frugal. Saving money isn't rocket science. Buy in bulk when you can. Generic brands are almost always okay. Shop online when you can. Cook at home. Don't buy dumb crap when you shouldn't. My friend once suggested we split the cost of a book we were both interested in. Then we could take turns having it at each other's house. It was a $20 book. My grandmother would never write notes, or even sign her name for that matter, inside cards. She'd opt instead to write a note on a piece of paper and stick it inside the card. As the recipient was reading the note, she'd take the card back. By not writing anything inside of it she could reuse it indefinitely. Probably not going to be seen by anyone, but whatever. So my dad knew a guy once who owned the office building he worked in. This man was so tight, he personally took a letter from Biggleswade in Bedfordshire to Luton, a round trip of about 6 hours, using his free bus pass, because he didn't want to pay 30p, 48c, for a stamp. That means he calculates his time to be worth about 6p an hour. The Captain Samuel Vimes Boots theory of socio-economic unfairness. A rich man can buy an expensive pair of boots that will last 50 years while a poor man will spend twice that in the same amount of time and still have wet feet. I like you and appreciated your reference. Sorry, I just never see the squirreled references. I'm so excited. If you have the money, live a good comfortable life. I have cousins, doctors, engineers, who are millionaires and drive 15 years old car that is rusted and falling apart. There's no point in living uncomfortably when you have means to live a better life. I have an uncle who will drive 10 minutes further to save 10 cents on milk. Freaking Hunt's brand ketchup. My friend's dad was a lawyer and always bought that worthless butt condiment. Heinz mother suckers. Seriously, I'm no brand fanatic, but it's Heinz or nothing with ketchup. Not having a car. I went without a car, using only crappy public transportation, until I was 28. It sucked. I'd rather have the convenience and freedom. Really depends on where you live. Having a car that I never used was a huge drain on my finances, so glad I got rid of it. The school where my kids go said that they will no longer supply tissues, and if we wanted our kids to have them we would need to send them in with a box. They told us this in a fully air-conditioned gym where we were all freezing our balls off. All I could think is if you turned the temp up a few degrees you could afford the tissues. Buying cheap can openers. My grandma always buys us dollar store can openers for gifts, and they don't even open one can before they break. Just buy an $8 or $10 one. It will last you a few years. I think a Terry Pratchett quote is relevant to this whole thread. The reason that the rich were so rich, Vimes reasoned, was because they managed to spend less money. Take boots, for example. He earned $38 a month plus allowances. A really good pair of leather boots cost $50, but an affordable pair of boots, which were sort of okay for a season or two and then leaked like heck when the cardboard gave out, cost about $10. Those were the kind of boots Vimes always bought, and wore until the soles were so thin that he could tell where he was in Ankh-Morpork on a foggy night by the feel of the cobbles. But the thing was that good boots lasted for years and years. A man who could afford $50 had a pair of boots that'd still be keeping his feet dry in 10 years time. While the poor man who could only afford cheap boots would have spent $100 on boots in the same time and would still have wet feet. Men at arms. There is a big difference in saving by being smart when purchasing groceries and meals, and saving by not buying groceries and having a meal once a day. My cousin saves money on fast food by buying plain burgers, burger plus bread, and asking for free cups of water. Yeah, I don't even know. Aquafresh toothpaste doesn't leave a minty smell on your teeth and it's like you just brushed with nothing but water. Do your teeth a favor and get the best toothpaste. I don't want that minty taste. It tastes horrible. If it does the same job, I'd much rather brush with toothpaste that doesn't taste at all. My mother is so bad with saving. That is, she's cheap. She'll make a huge fuss, even if there's tens of people behind us in a line, just so she can get that extra few cents off her item. No offense intended, but that's exactly the kind of people cashiers hate the guts of. Source: I've worked as a cashier for 2 summers. This will get buried. Haircuts. You wear your hair every single day, yet lots of people go to Supercuts, etc., and pay $10 for the world's shittiest cut. Also, ketchup. If it's not Heinz then it's not edible. $12 gets you a nice haircut at a real barber shop around here. Even though the guy I go to owns the shop and is the only barber there, I always give him $15 for the haircut, $20 if I can afford to. He always does a great job and never misses a hair. One my grandma always does annoys me so much. She buys cheap cheese and then freezes it to make it last longer. Makes the cheese crumbly and nasty. A friend of mine rented the smallest U-Haul truck for $19.99 and ended up having to make 2 trips to move all their stuff. The mileage charge for the additional trip was way more costly than it would have been to rent the next larger sized truck and get everything in one. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.